sterilization process is the most effective process that is used for killing and destroying all the living microorganisms. In this process, resistant viable spores are also inhibited. The next one is disinfection. Disinfection is a process of destroying microorganisms. In this method, a chemical substance called as disinfectant is applied on the surface of living and non-living things to kill microflora, except some resistant fungal spores. So, in the process of disinfection, a chemical substance that is called as disinfectant, it is applied on the surface of living and non-living things to inhibit the microflora. But here in this process, resistant fungal spores are unaffected. The third one is asepsis. It is a process in which chemical substances are applied on the body surface of living organisms to inhibit pathogenic microorganisms. So, this sterilization process is carried out only on living organisms. The chemical substance is applied on the body surface to inhibit the pathogenic microorganisms. Pathogenic microorganisms means the organisms which are able to cause an infection or disease to human beings or animals. Now let's see methods of sterilization and disinfection. Basically, there are three methods of sterilization and disinfection. First one is physical method, second is chemical method, third is gaseous method. In the first method, that is physical method, there are sub three methods that are used. First one is heat. With the application of heat, the sterilization and disinfection is carried out. Second is filtration and third is radiation. Today in our video we are going to see the first method, that is physical method, that is used in sterilization and disinfection. And in my upcoming videos I will upload details about chemical method and gases method that are used for sterilization and infection. So in second method there are 8 types of chemical things, or we can say chemical reagents, that are used for sterilization. First is alcohol, aldehydes, phenols, halogens, oxidizing agents, heavy metals, surface active agents, dyes. And in case of gases, here ethylene oxide gas is used for sterilization. So let's start with our first method of sterilization, that is physical method. Before starting with physical method of sterilization, let's see some important factors that affect the process of sterilization and disinfection. First one is organism load. Now, if the population of microorganism is huge or more in number, then the time required for sterilization is more. So, less the population, time required for sterilization is less, and if there is a huge population of microorganism, the time which is required for sterilization, that is also more. Second is concentration. The concentration of chemical agent that is used for sterilization and disinfection also have an effect on a procedure. Now, if we are using any chemical substance for sterilization and that chemical substance is more concentrated, then the sterilization will take place in less time. And if the chemical substance is diluted, it is less concentrated, then the time required for sterilization will be also more. The third one is duration of exposure. Now, duration of chemical and physical agents that are used in the process of sterilization and disinfection affects the efficiency of sterilization. Now here, more the duration of exposure, better the efficiency. If we expose the chemical and physical agents for the process on a sample or on a culture for sterilization for a less time, or we can say for less duration, then the effect or the efficiency of sterilization will be less. But if we expose the samples with the chemical and physical agents for a longer duration of time, then the efficiency will also be more. The next one is nature of organism. So that is the sensitivity or resistance of organism to the sterilizing agent. Now here sensitivity and resistance of the organism. Now here we have to study first whether this organism is sensitive or resistant to the agents which we are applying on them for sterilization. If the organism is sensitive to that sterilizing agent, it will get killed easily, and if the organism is resistant to that sterilizing agent, then it will not get killed easily. The next is nature of sterilant and disinfectant. Microbicidal ability, rapidity of action and residual activity. Now see, now we are applying here sterilant or disinfectant on a microbial population. Okay, now what is the ability of that substance, that is the sterilant, whether it kills the microbial population or not, that is the microbicidal ability. And rapidity of action is what time or how rapid it acts or how fast it kills that microorganism is rapidity of action. The ability to kill that microorganism is rapidity of action. And third is residual action. Now when we apply this sterilant and disinfectant, the residues remains. Okay, and whether this residues have an activity of killing that microorganisms or not, that is the residual activity. The next is pH. Microorganisms get easily killed at acidic pH. So this is the property. At acidic pH, these microorganisms can get killed easily. The next one is biofilm formation. If the microorganism produce a biofilm, then the entry of disinfectant is prevented, and this can affect the process of sterilization and disinfection. So a resistant the organism can develop a resistance against the sterilizing methods or disinfection methods that are used on them because of biofilms. If the organism is producing biofilm, it can become resistant to this methods of sterilization and disinfection. Now next, let's start with the physical method of sterilization. Now in physical method of sterilization, first one is heat sterilization. And heat sterilization is of two types. First one is dry heat and second one is moist heat. And in dry heat, microorganisms are killed by charring, oxidative damage and denature of cellular proteins. So here cellular proteins get denatured due to dry heat. And in case of moist heat, here microorganisms are killed by denaturing and coagulation of proteins. Now because of moist heat, what happens? Proteins get coagulated which are present in that microorganisms, and due to which the microbes get killed. Now the first one is dry heat. Dry heat sterilization is usually carried out in hot air oven. As we know, each and every microbial laboratory have this apparatus, or we can say have this hot air oven. The temperature range used is 160 to 180 degrees Celsius for 2 hours. So we have to apply this temperature for 2 hours. The dry heat sterilization provides the benefit of good penetrability and non-corrosiveness. So it is used for sterilization of glasswares, surgical instruments and some chemicals like paraffin, fats and glycerol. Now hot air oven, now sterilizing by using this hot air oven, that is the dry heat, it has some benefits like the heat can get easily penetrated, okay, in the sample which we are going to sterilize. Now that sample may be glassware, surgical instrument or any other liquids, and it is non-corrosive in nature. This activity is non-corrosive in nature. So it is used for sterilization of glassware, surgical instruments as well as some important chemicals. Now let's see the second one, that is the moist heat sterilization. In moist heat sterilization, there are three temperatures that are used. Actually here the temperature is divided as below 100 degrees Celsius, at 100 degrees Celsius and above 100 degrees Celsius. So the first one is temperature below 100 degrees Celsius, second is temperature at 100 degrees Celsius and temperature above 100 degrees Celsius. So the methods of moist heat sterilization are divided in these three types. Now in the first we can say temperature below 100 degrees Celsius, there are three methods, and That methods are pasteurization, second is water bath, and the third one is fractional sterilization. One by one I will explain you all these procedures in detail. The second one, that is where the temperature is applied, that is 100 degrees Celsius. Here also there are three methods. The first is boiling, second is steaming, and the third one is sterilization. And in the case of C, where the temperature which is applied for sterilization is above 100 degrees Celsius, is autoclaving. So let's see them one by one in detail. Let's see moist heat sterilization in detail. First one, as I told you before, temperature below 100 degrees Celsius. So the methods that are used in which the temperature is below 100 degrees Celsius, there are three methods: pasteurization, water bath, and fractional distillation, as I told you before. Now let's see them one by one. First one is pasteurization. Now the process of pasteurization is used for sterilization of perishable foods like fruits and vegetable juices and dairy products, especially milks. Now there are some substances which can get easily destroyed at high temperature. So here pasteurization is used for that substances. And here one thing is key. Here in pasteurization, the heat shock is given to that microorganism, so they get easily killed. Now see, there are two methods of pasteurization: flash pasteurization and hold pasteurization. Now flash pasteurization, or it is also called as HTST, that is high temperature short time. Here samples are exposed to a temperature of 72 degrees Celsius for 20 seconds, and then immediately they are cooled at 13 degrees Celsius. Now you can imagine that a microorganism as is at room temperature, suddenly it is exposed to a temperature of 72 degrees Celsius for 20 seconds, and then immediately it is cooled at 13 degrees Celsius. So such a heat shock is given to that microorganism, so that it gets easily killed due to heat shock. And the second is whole pasteurization, or it is also known as VAT or batch pasteurization. Now here in this case of whole pasteurization, the samples are held at a temperature of 63 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. Now you can see 63 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes, that is at this high temperature these microorganisms are exposed at this high temperature for 30 minutes, due to which they get easily killed. Second is water bath. Water bath is used for sterilization of vaccines, body fluids, and serum samples at 60 degrees Celsius for 60 minutes. So the temperature of water bath is maintained at 60 degrees Celsius. Now these are very heat sensitive, we can say heat sensitive things such as vaccine, body fluids, and serum samples. So they are sterilized by using water baths. Third one is fractional sterilization. Here samples are heated for 3 days for about 80 to 85 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. This method is used for sterilization of egg based and serum based media. Okay, so this is fractional sterilization. And the second one, B, that is moist heat at temperature 100 degrees Celsius. The first one was below 100 degrees Celsius. Now the methods are at 100 degrees Celsius. Now the first is boiling. Boiling of a sample in water for 15 minutes kills all microorganisms except some resistant fungal spores. So this is the first method, boiling. Second is steaming. Now in steaming procedure, the sample or culture media is exposed to a temperature of 100 degrees Celsius for 90 minutes. So for literally 90 minutes the sample is exposed to 100 degrees Celsius. The temperature is maintained at 100 degrees Celsius. At this time and temperature, all microorganisms except some fungal spores get killed. So here resistant fungal spores are not affected, only except all other microorganisms get killed. This method is used for sterilization of some culture media which are sensitive for high temperature. This type of media gets spoiled at high temperature of autoclaving. Now generally what we do when we prepare any media which we use for isolation and cultivation of microorganisms, we prepare that media and we autoclave it and sterilize it. But there are some medias which can't be sterilized by using autoclave because they are heat sensitive media. the media can get completely destroyed. So steaming method is used for sterilization of that media. That medias are exposed to 100 degrees Celsius for 90 minutes. Okay, this is steaming procedure. Third one is tyndallization. Now in this procedure what happens, sterilization of the media or samples are steamed at 100 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes. Now this procedure is carried out for 3 days. Now what is tyndallization procedure? The samples are exposed to 100 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes, and this procedure of 20 minutes is done for 3 days. Now this process kills all microorganisms and resistant fungal spores. Now in this procedure fungal spores are also killed. Tyndallization process is used for sterilization of media with egg, gelatin and sugar. Now the third one, that is moist heat at temperature above 100 degrees Celsius. First one was below 100 degrees Celsius, second was at 100 degrees Celsius, and third one is above 100 degrees Celsius. Now in this method of sterilization, a autoclave is used. Now autoclave is like a pressure cooker in which samples or the media are exposed to a temperature of 121 degrees Celsius for 15 minutes at 15 lbs pressure. Now autoclave is like a pressure cooker. You can imagine a pressure cooker. Now water is added in that autoclave. You have to keep your samples in that, close the autoclave. The temperature reaches to 121 degrees Celsius. Keep that autoclave for 15 minutes and the pressure is increased to 15 lbs. Now let's see it's working. When we autoclave a substance, the water present in the autoclave boils. Okay, now when we start the autoclave, the water starts boiling and the temperature reaches to 100 degrees Celsius. Now hence we close the autoclave. It is a closed vessel. The pressure increases to 15 lbs. Now due to which the temperature of that water also increases to 121 degree Celsius, and these things are kept for 15 minutes. This time is sufficient for killing all the microorganisms as well as the resistant fungal spores. Now this process of sterilization is useful for sterilization of culture media, surgical instruments, glasswares as well as all the water containing samples which cannot be sterilized by dry heat. Now the samples such as culture media, surgical instruments, or we can say the glasswares, or the heat, we can say dry heat sensitive things are sterilized here by using autoclave. Now the next one is filtration. This is the second type of physical method that is used for sterilization as well as for disinfection. Now filtration is a method of sterilization in which microbial population is removed with the help of filter. So here filters are used to remove the microbial population from the given samples. In this procedure the samples are passed through a filter of an appropriate size. Now the microbial load remains on the filter and we get a sterile sample. So here a sample is passed through a filter which has a appropriate pore size, and the microbial load remains on the filter and we get a sterile sample. This procedure is used to remove microbial populations from heat sensitive materials like vaccine, antibiotics, serum samples, as well as this filtration method is also used for purification of air in laminar air flow. So this method is used especially for heat sensitive materials, and this method is also used in laminar airflow chamber. Now there are two types of filters. Now first one is depth filter and the second one is membrane. Now let's see these filters in detail. The first one is depth filter and second one is membrane filter. Now depth filters are the filters in which porous filtration medium is used. This medium retains particles throughout the medium. So this filter is used throughout the filtration medium, in which this filter retains the particles that are suspended in the medium, and this procedure is carried out throughout the medium. Here a single filter or a membrane filter is not used. This type of filter are used in case of high load of particles in the fluid because other filters get clogged. As this filter is present throughout the medium, it can easily remove the particles that are suspended in that medium. So these types of filter are used for such samples which have high load of particles, because other filters can easily get clogged and the filtration system can fail. The depth filter are used on industrial scale for filtration of food, beverage and chemicals. These filters are not biological filters, and the examples are candle filter, asbestos filter. Now whereas the membrane filters are bacteriological filters. These are specifically used for removal of microorganisms, especially bacteria. Membrane filters are the porous filters which retain the particles on the surface that are smaller than their pore size of the filter. So here a sample which has a particles that is to be filtered is passed through the membrane filter. The suspended particles remain on the surface of that filter because the pore size of that filter is less than that particles that are suspended in the sample, so that particles remain on the surface of that filter and they cannot pass from that filter. The average pore size of membrane filter is of diameter 0.22 micrometer. The examples are air filters, surgical mask, laminar airflow, and here laminar airflow has two filters, HEPA filter and ULPA. Let's see the third method of physical sterilization, that is radiation. Radiation are of two types, ionizing radiation and non-ionizing radiations. Ionizing radiations have high penetration power, it has rapid action and it does not raise the temperature. So this is the property of ionizing radiations. They have high penetration power, that it gets penetrated deep, as well as it has rapid action, it acts very fast and the temperature remains steady. Further, it causes breakdown of DNA of microorganisms without increasing temperature. So it is called as cold sterilization. Now here what happens, these radiations break down the DNA of that microorganism so that lysis of cell takes place, and during this procedure the temperature is remains steady. So it is also called as cold sterilization. It destroys all microorganisms as well as resistant spores, but it cannot affect the viruses. Examples are X-ray, gamma rays and cosmic rays. And further, the next one is non-ionizing radiations. The non-ionizing radiations are the lethal radiations, but these radiations are unable to penetrate through glasses, dirt, films and water. So these non-ionizing radiations does not have the property of penetration. They can only be used for surface sterilization, okay? And these non-ionizing radiations are lethal in nature. Further, so these radiations are used for sterilizing the clean surface areas in operation theatre as well as laminar airflow. The examples are infrared and ultraviolet radiations. The exposure of 250 to 300 nanometer wavelength for 30 minutes is used for